Hello and welcome to Ready Set Glow. My name is Aphelele Ntame. Today on the show, I'm joined by a talented, beautiful, young Kat Lebea. She's a fashion and textile designer. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for making time to come through.
Thank you so much, Aphelele. I'm really honored to be here.
Oh, thank you. So before we get straight into everything, I understand you're busy. I really do appreciate you making time for me today.
Thank you so much.
So how does fashion then come to where does fashion itself stem from?
Well, I'd say that okay, it's a cliche answer, but it started in my childhood.
Okay.
I didn't know what fashion was, but all I know is that I'd like drawing people in beautiful clothes.
Okay.
And then it became more of like a calling, kind of like a spiritual calling or calling to help others, where I felt that, I'm not really sure what I want to do with my life. And this was around high school when they start making you choose your subjects and stuff. I was also a little bit depressed because when you feel like you don't know where you're going, it can also make you start to wonder why you are here, right? So I started praying. I started kind of growing closer, or growing my connection with God. And it kind of led me back to art and design and picking them as subjects. And when I started doing it again in a more spiritual aspect, it became more divine, it became more spiritual, and I felt like this is something I kind of have to do, or else I'm going to feel very unfulfilled for the rest of my life. So yeah, I'd say it's a calling. I don't know why specifically fashion, but when I make stuff for people and they are happy about them and they glow, I feel very fulfilled, and I feel like, yeah, this is definitely what I was supposed to do. Yeah.
So you mentioned subjects. In uni, you did visual arts.
Yes.
Tell me the importance of formal education and hands-on experience as a fashion designer.
So basically, I did do visual arts, and the visual arts department at Nelson Mandela University here in Gqeberha, they kind of have this thing where once you're done with your first year, you can go into other streams. So you can go into graphic, you can go into photography, fashion. So I went into fashion and textiles, specifically to focus on the textile aspect because I was already kind of okay with the sewing aspect. To me, it was quite important, even though they did teach us the sewing, they did teach us drawing, making mood boards. I feel like it helps you as a professional. I feel like anyone can really be a fashion designer if they put in the work and they have the talent. It is possible. However, I feel like on a professional scale, like if you want to start dealing with factories, larger scale manufacturing, knowing how to, put your things together so that the next professional knows how to sew whatever you send to them, or they know how to print the textile you want. It makes it much easier. You learn the language, you learn the do's and the don'ts. So I think for me, that's why formal education was really valuable.
Love it. So let's talk about the Ebubeleni, which is now the Eastern Cape Fashion Week. Take me through that. Was it your first time showcasing?
It was technically my second time. Usually, Ebubeleni has a segment for NMU fashion students. So I think, was it 2021? I had the opportunity, or 2020, I forgot. I think it was 2021. I had the opportunity as a student to showcase my work at the fashion show. So it was just like 3 garments. It wasn't that hectic. But then in 2023, I decided to enter officially as a fashion designer. It was really interesting because I was still studying at that time, so it meant kind of balancing, but it was my postgrad, so I was doing my postgrad and doing that at the same time. I feel like it's a really great opportunity as a designer because they give you a brief. You have to obviously now be creative and implement it the way that you would. I feel like it was also a sense of work experience because they want an outfit by a certain time. So you have to make miracles happen sometimes. So it felt like being on Project Runway a little bit. So I enjoyed it, and it was like a great time to just be freely creative and show like the audience or the world what you have to offer. And it was my first actual proper, like my first proper collection came from participating in Ibubele.
Speaking of collection, one of my favorite collections, which is the 2020 collection. It's called Afroexpressionism.
Yes.
Why that word? What's the inspiration behind that?
Okay, so it was my final year project.
Okay.
So when I presented it to my lecturers, I said to them that I'm an art geek. Okay. So I love art history. I love different art movements like the Renaissance, Expressionism, Dadaism. So I've always really loved Expressionism because it's an art movement that allows the artist to kind of like express how they feel, their emotions through the technique that they're using, the brush strokes, the paints, the colors, whatever it may be. I wanted to do that in fashion.
Okay.
From like an African perspective. However, I'm not every African. Okay. So yeah. I could only do it from my perspective as a Sotho woman.
All right.
So, and I come from Bloemfontein originally. So to me, it was kind of just expressing my world, where I come from, who I am. That's why there's like Afro combs, because it represents the natural hair journey that I was going through at the time and still going through. Yes. There are flowers for like my hometown, like Basotho symbols on it. So it was meant to kind of be my expression of what it means to be African or an African woman.
Yes. So way back in 2019, you also had a creative show at Siko. Tell me about that. You also mentioned God earlier on.
Yes.
And I don't know if I should call it the memo or the theme.
Yes.
The theme was 7 Deadly Sins.
Yes.
Take me through that. Which one did you receive though?
I received last.
Okay.
Yes. So for me it was awkward because I feel like of all the sins
it's
they
taboo.
I was like, when it comes to sexy things, this is not me, this is not even my style. I had to kind of find a different way to tackle it. So I felt like when I thought of lust, I immediately thought of those dangerous women in the movies that seduce men and then like kill them or something afterwards. I found out, or I knew it was like a femme fatale, but I just wanted to research a little bit more into that character trope.
All right.
Because I felt like if I was going to tackle lust, it would have to kind of be a different kind of lust, because to me it's a sin, so there's a consequence. It couldn't just be sexy, it had to come with a consequence. I thought of characters that would suit the theme, but interestingly enough, the Black Widow spider came to mind. Because after the Black Widow spider mates, it devours the male spider. I was like, that is as direct as I can get about this theme. So I designed the whole outfit based on the Black Widow spider. So it's meant to kind of look the way, it's meant to resemble the shape of the Black Widow spider. And there's some textile prints that are inspired by spider webs on it. It's also meant to look a bit chic and luxurious, because when you see it, you're not supposed to be scared of it. You're supposed to feel lust and lured by it. But then when you realize what's actually going on, that's when you're like, oh, like,
makes sense.
It's hectic. Yeah.
And the color of the garment was?
It was blue. They gave because each deadly sin had a color assigned to it.
Okay.
So yes, it was blue.
All right. I'm a fan of your work. As you said earlier on, you draw inspiration rather in the African prints. As you said, I want to know in description, what's your style?
What's my style?
Could you describe it?
My style, it's difficult to describe because it's based on wherever I am in life.
Okay.
Usually in the past, I'd say it's very bold. It's very expressive. I feel like in real life, I'm a very reserved person. I like black, white, neutral colors. However, the funny thing is that my designs are the opposite.
Okay.
They're loud. They're meant to catch your eye. Not necessarily because of like African prints are kind of like that, but I want to emphasize pride in it.
Okay.
And I feel like pride is mostly emphasized by color, by brightness, by bold things.
Eye-catching.
Yes, eye-catching things. So I feel like my style would, most of the time, that's what it looks like. But it obviously has stages. So sometimes it's very dark, sometimes it's very bright, sometimes it's very haute couture, and other times it's just very chic and classic and just normal everyday clothes.
Okay, love that. So outside your collections and projects, do you custom make clothes?
Yes. This year I've started doing that. I'm trying to advertise that a bit more because when I was studying, I just wanted to mainly focus on getting my degree. I tried to balance both, but it was quite difficult because I think when I'm working with a client, I want them to feel like I'm concentrating on them and I'm giving them my full attention. With school, it was very difficult to do that because there were obviously a bunch of things that needed to get done.
Most definitely.
Yeah, so now I'm kind of at this phase in life where I'm able to have a bit more time to dedicate to the person whose commission I'm taking or custom thing I'm taking in, because it feels like this is the time to do that now.
Okay. So lastly, I want you to look into the camera and how can people get a hold of you or custom make any garments if necessary?
Awesome. All right. So how you can get a hold of me is my Instagram. I have access to all of the necessary links on my Instagram. So my email and any link for anything that I do custom make on the actual app itself. You can also DM me. So yeah, that's pretty much where I am. I would love to open a Facebook account. I'm not sure how that's gonna go, but so far it's mainly my Instagram, and my Instagram is at Kat Lebea.
Thank you so much for coming through to Really Set Glow.
Thank you so much.
I know you probably thought you were gonna stay longer.
Hey, I did. I was like you.
Thank you so much. That's Kat Lebea. I'm Aphelele Ntame, and this is Really Set Glow.